Text by Hinton, Chapter 10, Part 1. Hey, Tex. Hey, kid, hey. I finally looked over at the car pulling up alongside me. I opened the door and jumped in, even before I realized it was Lem. I just wanted out of here fast. Going somewhere? He asked. Wherever you are, I said. My mind would go blank and time would stop, then start up again with a sickening throb. You don't look too good, cowboy, Lem said. Am I awake? I asked. It seemed like I was, but I really couldn't tell. Yeah. Listen, Tex, I'm headed back for the city. I got another stop to make. So make it, I said automatically. I was flashing hot and dizzy 1 second, sick and cold the next. The grass smell in the car was making me sick. I pushed the button that rolled the window down. I can't give you a ride back here. That's okay. Speed it up, will ya? He was driving like a poke. A lot of stoned people do that. I'd rather ride with a drunk any day. If Lem didn't speed it up, I was going to reach over and bash his face in. I couldn't think straight. When I tried to think, my mind turned into a crazy red mess. I don't really hate old Mason. Lem said it, not me. After a few minutes, I realized he was continuing the conversation we'd been having that morning. That morning was years and years ago. I could barely remember it. You hate a lot of people? I asked him. The word was taking on a whole new definition for me, like the word water would change for somebody drowning. Oh, yeah, sure. My old man, for one, and Connie's parents for a while. They ain't so bad now. I did hate Mace some back when he made the team his sophomore year and got to thinking he was such a hot shot jock, and him and Bob Collins got so thick. I thought he figured I wasn't good enough to be his best buddy anymore. But now, shoot, old Mace would have left me behind whether Bob was there or not. People change, I reckon. You know, hate is a real funny thing. Like George Regis. I've hated him since grade school. And the only reason I can think of is because he had a lunch pail like I wanted. Weird, huh? All these years, and I had never hated anybody. I was dumb. It suddenly dawned on me that I must be the dumbest person in the world. I was going to make up for it, though. I was going to smarten up real quick. Lem didn't notice the conversation being a little strange. Stone people are always having strange conversations. Tex, if you're that cold, put the window back up. I ain't cold. I tried to stop shaking. I ain't cold. Mason had said, he is my brother, even if he isn't your son. And Pop said, who told you that? And that meant, oh God, what did it mean? I couldn't think about it. I kept wiping my face off with my shirt sleeve, but the sweat kept pouring down. Look, Lem began slowly. Would you mind coming in with me at this next place? I got some deliveries switched around and have to do some explaining. And it'll help if I wasn't by myself, you know? All right. I wish you were a little meaner looking. You're big enough to scare somebody, though, if you just didn't look... Who was that Connie's always saying you look like? Goofy or Bambi, I answered absently. My fingers dug into my knees so hard the nails bit through the jeans and into the skin. I concentrated on that. Lem didn't have anything else to say until after we'd driven through the city a while. Look, Tex, you just go along with anything I say, okay? If it looks like there's going to be some hassle, we'll leave. I don't want any trouble. You must have burned these guys bad, I remarked, trying to appear interested. I had to be normal. If I wasn't, Lem might guess. Lem might already know. Who else knew? Everybody? Jamie? For a second, I almost blacked out again. I wanted to wake up real bad. Lem was shaking his head. It was just an honest mistake. I can fix it. Don't worry about me, I said, looking out the window without seeing anything. They try to hassle me and they'll be sorry. I like to make somebody sorry. Hey, Lem said, I like your attitude. By the time we pulled in the parking lot of a big apartment complex, I was really lost. I can't find my way around the city too good. Anyway, even when my mind is working. I wondered where I could go from here. Maybe Lem could use a partner. He could use some help. He wasn't exactly the smartest person in the world. I could make some money and be doped up all the time. That sounded great. That sounded wonderful. We went up the stairs for the second floor. There must have been 1,000 apartments there. It reminded me of the time me and Mason went to see Lem. Mason never lied to me. Sometimes it drove me nuts, but one thing I could always count on was that Mason never lied to me. He never told me the truth either. Lem stopped in front of an apartment that had all the curtains pulled shut. He knocked twice, then twice more. The dramatics of it vaguely irritated me. There were more important things going on. We heard footsteps stop at the one-way peephole, then the door was unlocked. We'd been wondering where you were lately. Who's your friend? A connection out in Garyville. He's cool. We went in and he chained the door shut behind us. The apartment was dark and an old Rolling Stones album was playing on the stereo. I remembered what Lem had said and tried to look mean. I couldn't concentrate on it though. My brain was out of focus. It seemed like right away Lem and this guy were in a heavy discussion about samples and deliveries and junk. Other than noticing that the guy seemed hacked off about something, I couldn't pay attention. It just seemed like a bunch of crap. This was not important. I wasn't Pop's kid. That was what they were saying. My mother. Why had I always thought of her as somebody really nice, somebody who would have loved me? I thought I remembered, but maybe I got what I remembered and what I imagined mixed up together. I had always thought she and Pop had been happy together. He never wanted to marry anybody else. And me, if I wasn't his kid, then whose? Did he even know? It was going to be never. He was never going to care about me. It wasn't going to be next time he got back from a trip or when Mason left or when I went on the circuit with him. There was nothing I could do to make him care. I realized I was making a strange little sound like a dying animal. I couldn't stop it, but Lem and his friend didn't hear. I couldn't see how he could do that to me. Play like he cared, but not really. I couldn't help being born. I was more like him than Mason was. How could he do that? It wasn't my fault. I didn't deserve. The guy Lem had been talking to started throwing a fit. He was jumping up and down, screaming, acting like he'd blown his mind. Even this took a couple of minutes to get my attention. I mean it, man. You can't come in here giving out samples and come back with a bunch of crap. What do you think we are, man? Stupid? Where do you get off with this, buddy? Lem was stammering around, not scared, just too stoned to think clear. It annoyed the hell out of me. Mason was right. Lem was stupid. Mason was right about a lot of things, but then he was the real kid, the one who counted. Now wait a minute, Callie, just wait a minute, Lem mumbled. I wasn't in the mood for this. I gave up my idea of joining up with Lem, not if you had to put up with weirdos. A Chinese-y-looking guy came out of the bedroom. Keep it down, Callie, keep it down. He was almost too spaced out to talk. I'm leaving, I said to Lem. These people are nuts. I turned and started to unchain the lock. Where do you think you're going? Callie quit jumping up and down long enough to ask me. I'm leaving. I don't have to take this stuff. I reached out for the doorknob, but Callie set up such a racket I turned back to watch. He's going to narc. He's going to narc. He raced around the room, yanking open drawers and cabinets, filling around under the sofa, frantic. I was amazed. I'd never seen anybody act like that in my life. He was screaming narc till it was a wonder one didn't show up. No, it's cool, his friend kept saying. It's cool. Don't seem too cool to me, I said. Lem nodded. You're right. We better get out of here. Callie found what he was looking for. It was a .22 pistol, and he had it leveled at me. You ain't going nowhere, man, he screamed. I stood there for a second, not believing it. This was the last straw. I put up with a lot today, and this punk pulling a gun on me was the last straw. Who the hell did he think he was? A white-hot rage flashed over me, and I slammed across the room at him like a bull out of a pen.